All right, well, we're going to get started, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Um, Thrilled that you're here. And my name is Chris Haug, and I'm the director of the Columbia Mid-Maryland chapter of the global organization called Startup Grind. And I believe everybody pretty much knows who we are. For those of you who don't, we are the largest global community of entrepreneurs. And our mission is to educate, inspire, and connect our community with the resources that they need to have the best opportunity to grow a phenomenally successful business. And we live by three very simple core values. We give first, we don't take. We help others before we help ourselves. And we look for ways to make friends, partners, and collaborate with one another and not practice the typical I win, you lose, zero-sum games. And for that, that is my 30-second elevator speech about Startup Grind and the global organization. Welcome all of you to today. This is our continuing weekly event series to do our best to keep the community connected with one another and provide valuable content. We are recording today's event, so as soon as I'm able to get it edited, it will go up on the website, and everybody will be able to view it from there. We are going to be doing, just to give you a heads up going forward, we are going to be doing our weekly events through the end of May. And about the third week in May, we're going to reevaluate the situation and see where we are as a region and as a country, and whether or not we're going to be starting to get back into in-person events. But for right now, what we're planning to do is to probably hold our weekly events through mid-June, unless otherwise notified. And then if all goes according to plan, we hope that we will have our first in-person event for our June 22nd event, which is going to be Women Leaders in Tech. And if we're lucky to be able to do that, and the Maryland Innovation Center is open, that's where we're going to be. But we'll keep you posted. All of our events between now and the end of May are on our website, so please go out, check them out, and sign up and attend. We'd love to have you. The more the merrier. And let's see, I would also like to thank, first of all, our global sponsors, which are Amazon Web Services, Google for Startups, Oracle for Startups, Intuit, Meetup, and Silicon Valley Bank. And I'd also like to thank our local partners and team members. And first and foremost is I'd like to thank Ellen Stokes of Quantum Insight. I'd like to thank, let's see, is Sean on? I thought I saw Sean. Maybe not. But Sean Sutherland with Kapowza. And
I'm here. I'm just muted.
There you are, sir. How are you? Josh Massey with Ortus Academy, Patrick Rockhill with Web Answer Media, as well as the Maryland Innovation Center, Laura Azam with Team Business. Those represent our team, and those are the team members that are helping to put these events on. So thank you to all of those. what I would like to do now is I would like to break us out as part of our mission is to, make friends and connect with one another. I'm going to break us out for about 5 minutes into some breakout rooms and allow everybody to introduce themselves, say what they do. So there are really 4 things. One is, who are you? 2, what do you do? 3, how you can help others. And 4, how others can help you. And hopefully everybody will have a chance to share in full. You'll be in there for about 5 minutes, and I'll call you all back then. So hold on a second while I get everything set up. 4. There we go. And
This will help you.
rooms are open, so please feel free to go out and join.
Okay, I'm supposed to join a room and participate in a discussion.
Okay, let's see.
This is a full where it's compared to the 60-second elevator pitch, a different scope, but anytime we have an opportunity, practice. Hi everybody, Anthony Camerata. I have a contract CMO service called Startup Cannon. Derek, like you, I'm in Baltimore, but work-wise, back when we did travel, work-wise, it was kind of Baltimore, up and down 295 in Maryland, and then DC as well. Greg?
Hey guys, Greg Miller. I do a lot of different things. I'm on a couple of local boards. I'm a part of some angel private equity investment groups. So I've gone in on some deals and I'm in the process of doing a couple more activities of due diligence. We'll see if we go in on some more deals. And I'm an advisor, mentor with a couple of other startups. I'm just looking to stay connected to the local community, and whenever I can uncover good ideas, especially in and around healthcare and technology, I tend to get even closer to those and just see if I can help in some way.
Are you based in Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm in the corridor, Baltimore, DC corridor, Western Howard County. Yeah. Yep. Originally a Minnesota guy though, so my heart's still back there.
What about the other guys? You guys I'll chime in. My name is Noah. I've been part of Startup Grind for a while. I've gone to a lot of events the past year. I'm also a co-founder right now working on my own startup. We're called eSeam.ai. And I'm actually pitching for Mass Challenge next Friday. So I'm actually working on my pitch as we speak, doing the design, slides, and everything. Essentially what we do is we're making it insanely easy to shop and purchase items from video content. So imagine that you're watching a YouTube video, you see something that you like. You'll be able to identify the product and make a purchase of the product without.
No, you cut out on us a little bit there. No. Yeah.
No, you cut out a little bit at the end.
Right at the good part too.
Right. Well, what's that you guys heard?
What we do. You were starting what we do.
What we do. So we make it insanely easy to discover and purchase products with video content without leaving. So imagine that you're watching a YouTube video and you see something that you like. You'll be able to click on the product, identify what it is, and then purchase it without leaving the video. That's really interesting.
Yeah, never heard that one before.
Yeah, we're doing it with we're starting on with YouTube. We use Google Chrome extension and also a web application that content creators will use to encode their videos and products. And then as a video viewer, you'll be able to use the Chrome extension to make purchases. Pretty cool.
Mhm.
Jeff, what about yourself? Are you there, Jeff? Jeff, we can't hear you if you're talking. Uh-oh. 60 seconds.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, you lost you.
I guess we'll see you guys back there. See you guys back there.
All right, sounds good.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Chris, I think you're on mute. I'm not sure if you know you are.
Well, I'm sorry, I was muted. So that being said, welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a chance to connect and communicate with a few people. And I'd like to go ahead and move into our event. And today is a product demo and pitch practice for 5 selected startups. And this is not a high pressure, high power type of a pitch presentation. It's designed to give everyone who's been selected an opportunity to practice, so that when we get back to the new normal, whenever that is, they will have had a little additional time to work on their presentation skills. So that being said, I'd like to introduce the first one up, and that's Mr. Andrew Sachs. Andrew with Noble Explorers. Very interesting concept that is up and operational. So Andrew, the floor is yours.
Don't forget to unmute, Andrew.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, hold on just for 1 second. I just have to post a video up into the chat. My apologies. I hope I got, didn't mean to slow us down. My audio okay?
Yes.
All right. And
You have your presentation ready?
I do. I just have to get ready with the audio so that I can play the video in the middle of the presentation. Oops. Excuse me.
Andrew, you there?
Yeah. Any chance you could have someone else go right now? My
All
apologies.
right, we'll do. We'll go ahead and move on to the next one and come back to you. Okay, Susan Clayton. Okay, unmute yourself.
Hi. So now I share screen, right?
Yes,
Did it come up? Oh, there we go.
there you go.
Hi, I'm Susan Clayton, and I'm the inventor of White Paws Run Mitts. It's a patented thumbless convertible mitten designed for runners, walkers, and outdoor sports enthusiasts. I want to take this down so I can see the screen. The feature, because our temperatures fluctuate during our runs, we start off with the mitten all on, like this. And if you start getting cold, because our temperatures fluctuate, you flip the top. But unlike traditional mittens and gloves, you can push White Paws Run Mitts all the way down to your wrist, so you don't have to worry about taking them off. There's also a pocket in the palm for a hand warmer. So if the temperature is really extreme, you can make them even warmer. Okay, I have the wrong screen. Unfortunately, I thought I had the wrong screen set. This is why practice is great, I guess.
Okay, well, let's do this.
Let's do.
All right, tell us about the company. Tell us
Okay.
about, give us more detail about the product, how you came
Okay.
up with the idea, and what kind of traction in the marketplace do you have right now?
Okay, that's great. So because I was an avid runner, I could never find mittens or gloves that kept both of my fingers and my thumbs warm. So I invented one. So they go on and they cover up all of your fingers like this, flip the top, and then you can push them all the way down. The company was launched in 2016. This coming winter will be our 5th winter. And I realized that after the first 3, we were very steadily growing about 30% each year. This last year, we kind of dropped back, and I realized that it was a time when I needed to add more marketing and more brand awareness. I do have I do a lot of social media ads, social media postings. So my reach is across the country, and I have had some global sales, but I really want to push it with hiring someone who would be able to help me better get with brand awareness and marketing, because that's definitely not my forte. And I've noticed in other companies, when they have someone who specializes in marketing, that they do their company, I see more postings, I see better content, and I definitely need that.
Okay. So you developed the product out of a need that you had, right?
Yes.
And are all of your sales currently through your website online? Where can people find your product?
So mostly online. During the winter race season, I do a lot of expos, but I think that this year, because of COVID, a lot of races have been canceled. So I won't be doing expos probably in the winter, fall. But I do a lot of holiday pop-ups. So mostly it's word of mouth. I've kind of diluted the market in the tri-state area. So that's why I'm trying to push to get more across the country, even though I do have a lot of sales in the Midwest, and towards the Montana, Seattle, Washington, those states too.
Okay, so you've been around since 2006.
16.
Okay, I'm
16.
sorry. And so obviously I see some colors up there. What colors, what sizes? Is it a unisize kind of platform or product? Tell us more about the product.
So it's a unisex product. There's not a left or a right. You can wear them on either side. Right now I have it in 2 different fabrics. This is a fleece. It's a double velour fleece. It's a sports fleece by Polartec. And then I have a wind and water resistant one. It's a little lighter weight. It's not waterproof, but it's wind and water resistant. That one comes in about both of them come in 6 colors, but starting in 2000, for the 2020-21 season, the wind and water resistant will be in just black, and the fleece will still be in the 6 colors. I'm switching, I'm thinking about switching manufacturers right now with someone who does only gloves, so that we can have like a better design on them, a little more, she's been helping me tweak the design a little bit. She's also helped me pivot in this season, because I'm seasonal. She helped me pivot to make in face masks. So I don't know if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've designed a little face mask for runners. So she had them listed on her site, and I asked her, she had them in neoprene, and I asked her if she could make them in a lighter weight fabric. So this is called Tree Coat, and it's very comfortable. It's very lightweight. So it's great for runners when they're out running, so that they can have some facial protection.
Okay. And are you manufacturing your product here in the States, or is it being manufactured overseas?
No, they're actually being manufactured here. The mittens have been manufactured here in Baltimore for the past 4 years. If I do switch manufacturers, she's in New York, so it'll still be on the East Coast. It'll still be U.S. The Polartec fabric, the fleece is made in the U.S. There is some that's made in Guatemala, but the wind and water resistant fabric, it's really hard to get a wind and water resistant fabric in the States. Most of those are made in China or Taiwan, stuff like that, Pakistan. So I prefer Polartec because it is a U.S. company, but their wind and water resistant fabrics aren't made here in the U.S. But I still use them, but I would prefer to have a company that's here. But right now, and maybe because of the things that are happening, they might start producing here again, which would be great.
All right. So if you could kind of summarize for us, what are your biggest needs right now, say over the next 6 to 12 months, and what can we as a community do to help?
Marketing. That's the thing. It's like having someone who can help me with marketing, manufacturing. I have leads on manufacturing, but it's like one of those catch-22. If you don't have a big company where you can make a lot of stuff, you can't get the margins down. So until I can get the company bigger, the margins are still small. But I still prefer, first I was like big on trying to get into stores. But I'm realizing that having an e-commerce business is probably the way to go right now. So I'm focusing more on e-commerce and that's why I feel like brand awareness, social media, someone who can help me just push it out there is going to be probably my best bet.
Okay, thank you. One request of everybody that's on the event today, would you please introduce yourselves in the group chat and put your name, your company, what you do, and how people can contact you. And as you've heard, one of our, Susan is reaching out and saying she needs marketing help and may want some advice or some ideas on, improving her manufacturing capabilities a little bit. So if you think you might be able to help her or have contacts or connections and can put those in the chat, I'll make sure that those get to Susan after the end of the event today. Okay. Are there any questions that the audience has for Susan? Open floor.
No questions?
I've asked all my questions, so. Okay. Well, Susan, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And we will be following up with you with some additional resources. Okay.
Actually, Chris, can I ask a question?
Thank you so much.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Yeah, Greg, go ahead, please.
Sorry, we're on a delay. This is Greg Miller. Yeah, sorry, I had to leave for the first part of the presentation and came back in. But are they just mittens or are they gloves too? Do they have finger? Are there finger
No, they don't have
options?
fingers. They just go on and they cover up all of your fingers. So because if you had the fingers in them, you couldn't push them down. But this way, it keeps all of your fingers together, and that's why I find that if you don't have them all together, you just moved on my screen. That's why I switched over here. If you don't have all your fingers together,
Gotcha.
it makes even the ones that have like the separation here, where they have they cut off here, your fingers are still cold because they're separated. And just the fact that having them close together keeps it extremely warm. And I've had people in like up in like New Hampshire and Maine, and they're like have run with the mitten with a hand warmer in and said that the hand warmer made them too warm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to imagine for skiing. I'm a big skier, and I like the finger gloves, but you get cold. So I was wondering how there might be an adaptation for that. But okay, I can see your logic. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Anyone else? All right, Susan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's go with Alexei. You're on, sir. We have Alexei Penetov, and he is with CryptoLink.
Hi, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
My name is Alex. I'm a co-founder of CryptoLinks. We have great experience in making secure solutions for a system that deals with money and sensitive data. And we made instruments that will protect your system against your own engineers, developers, DevOps, everyone who have access to your system. Let's make problem more formally. For example, problem is the following. Company owners want to have system protected against internal fraud, and they don't want to have expensive administrative procedures. Of course, as a company owner, you can restrict access to your system to everyone and do everything by yourself, or delegate these functions to your CTO or another manager. But it will be a nightmare for your manager, and it will be very difficult for everyone to deal with the system. So we need something to make system secure, that no one can steal money, but we need to make it very easy in exploitation and development. Let's consider a very simple example. For example, you are owner of PayPal. Everyone knows PayPal. Company deals with money, and every client can transfer money from one account to another account, many wallets, payouts, and different stuff. Inside system is very simple. PayPal, there is corporate bank accounts or something like that. There is a technical solution in cloud, and there are clients who interact with cloud. As an owner of PayPal, you employed many super talented developers, and they made your system secure and secure for hackers. No hacker can break your system outside the system. But does it make your system secure? Will you, as an owner of company, be relaxed and just be sure that your money is safe? The answer is no, because, for example, this is ship, but it's Ivan. It's your developer, and he is a developer from payment platform team, one of your teams. What will prevent him from stealing 1 cent of every transfer every time for 10 years? how will you prevent it? Or how will you prevent that he steals all your money and fly away to Bahamas with your money, of course. Problem is very difficult because this guy is doing this system. He has access to the system all the time. Hackers needs to break in, but this guy has access all the time. Now solution and approaches are based upon administrative procedures. There are several trusted administrators who has access to everywhere, and only them have access. Only they have access. Yes. This approach is secure. Your system is protected, but there are some disadvantages. First of all, is buzz factor. It's very difficult to replace trusted administrator. Usually, trusted administrator is some of managers. Managers are very busy guys and they don't have enough time to administrate something, to make deployments and something like that. So we have second disadvantages is bottleneck because everything goes through several persons. And last disadvantages is lack of security because administrative procedures are based upon people. People are not secure. You cannot trust people because they're people, just persons. So what we have? We provide instruments that let you prevent internal fraud and organize your system in secure way, even if everyone has access to most part of your system. And all instruments are based upon distributed PKI system, which we created. What does it mean? PKI is a mechanism where everyone has a private key and anyone knows his public key. In our system, we have no certificate authority, single certificate authority. Everyone can sign any certificate of any person or any services. We have self-proving rules which everyone can use to validate any certificate. We don't have a single point of trust. No one trusts anyone. And third point, we don't have CRL. It's blacklist for certificates. Any changes in this list is distributed with pandemic approach, peer-to-peer. It's not like blockchain, but it's kind of, but approach. It's very similar approach, I think. So what we have, PKI, the core of your system, is secure by design. It doesn't need administrators at all. And no one trusts no one.
Okay. Alexei, you have 1 minute left.
Okay. So everyone can just calculate cryptographical proof instead of trust. And based upon PKI system, we have secret storage, which doesn't need any administrators at all. It's secure by design. We have deployment system, which is secure by design. Anyone can deploy images because they are signed with personal keys. And we have very flexible delegation mechanism. Some functions of trusted administrators can be easily and cryptographically securely delegated to another persons. So you as an owner of company can be relaxed and all managers can be relaxed because everything is secure and you're doing nothing for this. It's secure by design. That's all. Yes, thank you. Thank you a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Alexei. Anybody have any questions?
Can I make an observation or a couple of observations?
Sure.
I like the play into security. It feels very crowded, but there's still a lot of opportunity, at least from my seat in the stands. Just in terms of the story, I was kind of waiting for a couple of pieces, which, you know, maybe you could reflect when you do another pitch. But I was wrestling with system controls versus financial controls, and I tend to think of them as different. Some sit in IT, some sit in finance. So I was wrestling with, well, if you solve for system control, even if you have system control exposures, doesn't to some degree financial controls take over? And I don't know the answer to that. But I was just left kind of wondering about that. And then secondly, I was really interested in, how does this work? Is this code that has to be built into applications that are being built today? Or is it code that can be ported in to existing solutions? And again, I'm not smart enough to know how that would work, but I think it would go to the applicability of your solution. Like, how does it work? Is it a separate piece of code? Does it have to be built internally, or can it be laid on top? So an observation, but I guess a question as well.
Thank you, Greg.
Uh, okay, well, let's start with second question. It's several applications that can be launched in clouds or on-premise, and it's a bunch of libraries in different languages that can be used to communicate with it. Also, it requires some modern approaches and I'm trying to remember word in English. Paradigm. Okay, let it be paradigm. Modern that every developer is using. If you are using modern approaches in programming, you'll be okay with it. But in the base level is just some applications like databases or something like that, and libraries to communicate with it. It will help you to encrypt and sign everything. Also using this, you will have to obey some rules, some right rules in creating your system secure by design, and it will work together.
Okay. Alexei, could you do me a favor and answer the following two questions? What help well, actually this question, and that is, what do you need in terms of assistance, and how can we help?
Now I have only one client, frankly speaking, and I need new clients. I need marketing, and that's all, I think.
Okay. If you would go ahead and put your request and what you need in the chat box so that we can circulate that among the community. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Alexei, thank you. Okay, let's see. How about if we go with Susan? Wait a minute, no, we already did Susan. My apologies. How about Sonia Sue? Sonia, you're up.
Okay, great. So before I share my screen, can I just see a show of hands, or if you want to raise the blue hand on the side, how many of you personally know of someone affected by cancer? All right.
I think we probably all do.
Yeah. So yeah, let me just try to share my screen right now. Oops. All right, can everyone see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So hi everyone. I would like to introduce my idea for a hybrid social enterprise called Kids to Heart. So when I asked a class of 20 students the same question, every single hand went up. Sorry, is my video on? I don't think I put my video on. Let me see.
We can see your presentation, but not you.
Okay, I'm not sure how to, hold on. Let me stop sharing and then turn on video and then share again. All right.
There you go. Yep.
Here we go. All All right.
Yep.
So here's the thing. It's likely not a matter of if, but when your loved ones are diagnosed with cancer and put on a treatment plan, it's mostly about what happens inside the hospital. And everything that happens outside the hospital is really up to the patient, and if they're lucky, friends and family. So hospitals are known for showing lots of room for improvement, and for cancer patients in particular, the lack of adequate material and perhaps more importantly, psychosocial resources can be detrimental to their overall well-being.
Hello.
But friends and family are also at a loss, resorting to giving socks, blankets, and coloring books, which, while well-intentioned, just aren't enough. Frankly, we can and need to do better. We need to care better. Cancer does not have to be a lonely journey. So my solution is a thoughtfully designed, curated cancer care kit. This would not only include items that one may actually need during the course of treatment, but it would also provide a handwritten card and brochure of resources for mental health and psychosocial support. The value added is, frankly, myself. I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in January 2018 during my second semester at Georgetown. I know what it's like to go through treatment, not once, not twice, but 3 times, meaning I not only have the experience, but also the networks. I was treated in 2 hospitals in Baltimore, so I would ideally like to start there for now. So my inspiration comes from being admitted for treatment last year. I was so surprised to see a care package on my bed, assuming it was from the hospital. Turns out it was from a former patient who regularly donates these to that unit. I made a promise that I would try to be that inspiration for others. So it's weird to think about market size for cancer, but the truth is the rate of cancer cases in the US, while the rate of cancer cases in the US is falling, the number of cases and deaths each year is not. This year, 1.8 million people in the US will hear the words, "You have cancer." By 2040, that global burden is expected to grow to 27.5 million new cases. So in its own category, nearly 90,000 young adults are diagnosed with cancer each year, with 1 million cancer survivors in young adulthood. My go-to-market strategy is to first figure out what patients want and when. So this means going to as many meetups as possible, which are still going on virtually, as well as donating these kits to patients who are requesting them online at kidstoheart.org, as well as perhaps coordinate some donations to hospitals in Baltimore. In phase 2, I hope to maintain this community of kit recipients via email newsletter as well as social media. Hopefully we'll be expanding to hospitals and medical centers in DC. Ultimately, it would be great to have students be at the core of this movement to really change how patients are cared for. So that means expanding to campuses and developing organizations and have students be the representatives. So besides the big box retailers that sell prepackaged gift baskets and online marketplaces like Amazon, there are a few direct competitors that are selling chemo kits ranging from $30 to $200. So Kits to Heart focuses on creating inclusive social impact, not limited to any gender, age, or cancer type. So as you can see, these are some direct competitors that are selling these kits. And the advantages of mine would be, of course, I'm focusing on design. I will be providing inclusive packages that are not gender specific. A lot of them are very much, oh, this is for women with breast cancer, or others are just huge packages that may not be exactly useful for a lot of patients. And so the financial plan is to first seek grants and donations from perhaps incredible people like you. So once this pandemic subsides, I'd like to establish a for-profit side to sell to customers directly in hospitals and online. I also plan to contribute to data research and collection of the psychosocial effects of cancer and these kits. So right now I'm preparing to ship my first batch of kits by next week in return for feedback, as well as collaborate with cancer organizations and medical centers in the DMV. As I mentioned previously, kidstoheart.org currently takes requests for kits, and with enough funds, we'll offer personalization and direct sales at a price point of about $80 to $90 a kit. So through inclusivity and individualized care backed by research, better care won't have to be yet another burden that patients have to seek out for themselves. So it's been a year since my last treatment, and I'm so ready to pass on this hope to others and change how patients are cared for. I welcome any insight that you may have into forming a passionate, skilled team as I seek capital to send kits to those in need across the country. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Sonia. Very, very well done. Let me ask you this: is the .org side of things right now a nonprofit, a 501c3, or something similar to that?
Yep.
That's a very good question. So actually, one of my professors this semester is also an attorney, and I managed to speak with him about helping me to form a actual legal entity. And so he's working on helping me file as a 501c3.
Okay, and what do you think your timeline is for having that up and operational, so that if people wanted to donate, they could donate sooner rather than later?
Yeah, so actually, I guess I would consider myself right now as a sole proprietorship. And so in that way, people are still able to make individual contributions. And of course, because I'm not a 501c3 yet, that does limit some foundations and perhaps other, I guess, people who would require that legal entity to make those donations. But right now, individuals, family and friends are able to go on the website and make their donations directly right now, and that would go directly into funding the kits that would be sent.
Okay. Any questions from the audience?
Just maybe again a comment. I would reinforce the 501c3 side, because just as you said, Sonia, there's a lot of institutions that will see this as very like-minded if you also come with the 501c3, but also for individual givers, you get a tax deduction if you can get a receipt from a 501c3. Right. So effectively, if I were to contribute $100, it's effectively only 70, but I need that receipt with a 501c3 on it. So I would encourage an acceleration of the timeline, whatever the timeline is.
Okay, thank you.
Can I make
But
a
it's
comment?
a good idea. This feel-good stuff it matters.
That's good to know. Yeah, I mean, it matters to me a lot. So any contributions and any donations that I can receive right now would be incredible to help the general cause. Yeah.
Susan,
can I ask another quick question?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Susan.
Oh, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed your presentation. I learned a lot just watching it because I'm kind of new at this, so that was great. Thank you. That's all.
Greg.
Yeah, my question, do you have, like, how are you doing demand management? Do you have, I don't know, like facilities or patients or kind of a next 30, 60, 90-day plan that you would want to meet in terms of demand management?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So unfortunately, COVID-19 has put a damper in terms of like actually going into hospitals and maybe being more active in giving out these donations. So I've switched to more of a plan where I would share my service on social media, like Facebook groups that are specifically, for example, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma patients have joined and they have like thousands of members. I just post my service on there, and people so far compared to the thousands, it's not a lot, but for me, it's a lot. In terms of the number of requests I've been receiving, I received over 20 requests directly from either patients themselves or their wives, husbands, family, and friends. So in terms of that, I guess right now it's really based solely on social media and online requests. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, maybe after I start shipping next week, I hope that maybe next month or so, I can coordinate some donations with hospitals. And because I do know that, despite how perhaps dangerous it is to actually go into hospitals, people are still donating to hospitals. And I've seen that a lot. So I'll try to find a way to actually like donate and also get some feedback and maybe have some customer research, I guess, because I definitely want to understand more about like what they actually want. Because of course, I mean, yeah, I have the experience, but it would also be helpful to know like what exactly would they like to support them through their cancer journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So if you could right now, Sonia, tell us what you need help with most.
Yeah, so right now, I would definitely really appreciate anyone who is passionate to the cause to, if they have the finance background, maybe to help advise on how, like maybe potential pricing strategies, because right now a cost per kit is around $40, not including shipping. And so it would be great to know that eventually, if I do manage to have these direct sales, like would my current price point of like $80 to $90 be feasible, and would people purchase them? And just, yeah, general finance background would be great. And of course, any just donations in general or helping to spread the word would be great. In terms of just forming a team would also be great, because I'm doing this all alone right now. So
You're a classic entrepreneur. All right, Sonia, would you do me a favor? Please put your contact information in the chat box
yes.
so that we can follow up with you after the event.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. And let's see. Next one up. Andrew, you going to be ready?
I am ready.
All right, you're
My
on. big guy.
apologies. My apologies for earlier. You know, I want to say, Sonia, wow. You know, I got many aunts and uncles that unfortunately lost them to cancer, and you're so on spot when you got something that really takes care of the people, right? Because the system knows how to treat you, but it doesn't necessarily know how to take care of you.
Yes, that's very true.
So thank you. So rah rah. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Chris, and everyone here in attendance for the opportunity to present, and for doing this amidst all those challenges. Really connecting with people is a wonderful thing. I'm Andrew Sachs, and on the call with me is JP LaPere. He's also involved with Novel Explorers, and we're an online international STEM and leadership camp. And before we get going, I just want everyone to put into the chat, if you don't mind, answer the question in your own words. How well do you think education prepares our youth to succeed in life and the future of work? And I'll proceed on. So the fourth industrial revolution is here now, with AI, machine learning, robots, IT, and globalization, and it's changing life and work at lightning speed. This isn't just about robotic cars or automatic surgery or cars that drive medical diagnosis via AI. It's about fundamentally changing the way every bit of work happens. It doesn't matter whether you're you're diagnosing cancer patients, whether you're designing mittens for people, or you're operating a global startup grind, right? AI is going to enter your job, and knowing how to do your job and leverage the power of AI and all these other factors to do your job better in a more efficient, satisfactory way is going to be important for everybody. As humans, we're actually going to occupy we've got to move to a more human side of that equation, right? Where we focus more on the creativity and collaboration that the machines can't actually do. In 2017, Google did a study about what makes a successful Google manager, right? And Google's a tech company, so no surprise, STEM skills are on that list. They're actually number 8. But if you look at number 1 through 7, being a good coach, communicating and listening well, self and social awareness, and empathy, these are soft skills. So even Google, arguably the most technology intensive company on the planet, sees how critical soft skills are, but how critical STEM skills are, but how more critical these soft skills are. I want everyone to keep an eye on that top one, being a good coach and communicating and listening well, right? If these are on Google's list, you know a few things about them. One is that they're hard to get. 2 is they're very important. And 3, they're actually rare. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on Google's list. I'll contend that every company has this list. It might not be STEM or technical skills and programming down at number 8, but every company, because of this AI and because of the way everything's getting so complex, this is the pathway forward for us in the meaningful job market. Why Noble Explorers? Really, it was my daughter Lauren. She's top of her class. She was an eager learner. Did 15-7 in the SATs, captain of the track team, all the APs in the world, graduated college in 3 years with a computer science degree, and she didn't actually like group projects. I'll let you all absorb this slide. Does it hit home with anybody? Maybe a little bit. Well, so here's my daughter graduating from school, and I realize she doesn't like to do group work. She learns to tell everybody what to do everything herself, that she has all the right answers, right? And some kids learning that if he does nothing at all, that he'll still get an A if he's on Lauren's project. My daughter's actually not learning teamwork, the most important thing, right, on these lists, on these soft skills, right? She's actually learning unteamwork. As a matter of fact, the more academically talented your child is, the more unteamwork they learn. But this is messed up. This is the most important thing you can learn, right? It's on the top of Google's list. So that kind of hit me like a ton of bricks 4 years ago. This is a great quote from Mark Cuban, right? Regardless of your profession, give your kids an edge, have them learn the basics of artificial intelligence. He's really pointing to that, how AI is going to touch everything, right? And then Bridgewater, Ray Dalio put out a tweet yesterday, which is really, should have been in my slide deck if I'd known it was, before, but you graduates know virtually nothing about being successful outside of school, right? I think we've got he sees the challenge of the lack of connection between what we learn in school and what's going on in life. So how can we actually prepare our youth to succeed in this world? What if we built a learning community with engaging STEM IT-based team projects, coding, web design, robotics, finance, cybersecurity, web development, that actually activated student interest and developed real career skills? So these are things that are not taught in school today, but are actually totally viable for careers. What if we built a learning community that taught life and work critical soft skills like communication, collaboration, problem solving, right? And then badge them for reward and recognition. And you can do whatever you want with the badges. We have virtual badges. We don't give out physical badges right now. What if we built a learning community where the learners work together as a team, like built a website together, and then grew from being learners into leaders? In our system, the kids actually take a class and then turn around, and in as little as 4 weeks can actually be turning around and teaching it to other youth. Remember that on the top of that list with Google, where it was being a good coach? We've got 10-year-olds that are practicing coaching others, right? Why? Because they can. They also learn the material in more depth, and you're building the next generation of learners. What if we built a learning community with real mastery, purpose, and helping others, and without grades? I probably don't need to tell this group, a group of entrepreneurs, about how useless grades might be. What if we built a learning community where youth can collaborate in person, provided there's no global pandemic going on, right? Where they can collaborate online, where they can collaborate locally or even globally. So our system's designed to work all online. You can work in school, after school, or from home. You can work locally with your school community, in a group inside your country, or you can be part of a global team. Although I'll tell you that first kids, anyone whose parent picks local, the next kid, like the next class this kid takes, he joins a global team. So it only goes one way. These global kids are too cool. It's too interesting to stay away from. What if we built a learning community that expanded women's participation in STEM by making it positive, collaborative, and social? There's a lot of women that elect out of STEM, not because they're good, not because they're not good, or because they don't like it, but because they see it absent of human interaction. The reality couldn't be further from the truth, but that's not the way we teach it today. Turns out we did build this learning community. It's called Noble Explorers. I'm going to do a little video now, and my apologies, this is what delayed me from before. Hopefully I don't mess this up. Can you guys hear that?
Welcome to our expo. Today you will have a chance to meet our fantastic group of explorers and enjoy their project presentation. So I hope you will have fun. We are from USA, Ukraine, and Kosovo. We are a team. We are noble explorers. We brainstormed an idea. Then we found content for our website. Then we made the design better and we made it together. So everybody got to take part. What I liked most about this project was that we were able to create a website and use Elementor, which was really fun for me, and I enjoyed it. We have choose a safe ocean from the plastic. This is the site which we've worked hard on about healthy food. This logo was made by Yara. Credit to her for that. The Noble Explorer's Guide to our plastic pollution problem. Our website is about seal clubbing. To create a website, we use these tools: HTML, WordPress, Elementor, Sheet to Brainstorm, and RocketJet. And we felt like this website could make the difference and could make people understand. I mean, when you're having fun, you have a motivation to study, learn, explore. I think even though we're from all across the world in just 3 days, we were able to speak and collaborate as though we had known each other our whole life. We all collaborated just like some old friends. Wow, real teamwork. Now we have like basic knowledge in programming, so we can use it in future. What's behind Nobel is building a bunch of young, motivated people who are motivated to work with other young, motivated people to work in teams. And we master new tools and learn new skills. If you're really smart, you're the machine. But if you're a smart teammate, you can control the machines. I definitely prefer it with students teaching other students. You're probably able to communicate better because you're closer in age, and therefore it makes it easier to learn the content. It was like surprisingly easier than I thought it would be. Like we were like really far away, but we were still able to like make it together, you know. So the international part is the best part. Great job, everybody. Teams, you did a fantastic job. Facilitators, wow, it's just fantastic.
All right. It's hard to follow up that demo.
Yeah,
Right.
Andrew, 2 minutes.
Yep. Thank you. So right now we're experiencing exponential, not viral growth. Everything we've been doing is pure referral. We're doubling. Depends. Before March 16th, we were doubling about every 6 months. After March 16th, my guess is, it's about doubling every 2 months. Right? Kids are a lot more available. Parents are looking for solutions. What's going to happen over this summer? We don't know. We might be doubling in size every 2 or 3 weeks. And, you know, I will say this, the future is probably going to look a lot more like the present than the past. You know, in terms of education and the challenges that K-12 has in delivering something that helps and satisfies parents, it's a tall order, and we're really a great solution for those families looking for something more for their kids. What are some other key success factors? It's a very scalable solution, right? We've got the exponential community growth, right, both instructors, but it's actually very linear in expense. So because we've got kids teaching kids, we can grow very quickly. We grow our own staff. And it's really an amazing community, smart, social kids, leaders, globally oriented. And I'll say this, probably one of the biggest differentiators, one of the biggest, most important things is that you're probably all thinking about, do you actually want this program for your child, niece, or nephew right now? Right, if you know someone in that age group, it's for ages 8 to 17. I'll share a coupon that you guys can have for a free class. Leadership team is myself, tech entrepreneur. People ask me about my education credentials. I went to school and I married a teacher. Dan Mina is assistant principal. J.P. Laperzani is our CEO advisor and entrepreneurship and global sales executive. Diverse STEM and facilitation experience from all over the world. And it's a remote first team. We've been remote for almost 3 years, but you know, we still have fun in person. We get together, and there we are at one of our meetups. This is us at STEM expos and PTA shows. And where we're at right now is now's the time for us, right? Really looking at expanding marketing and operations, right? I think COVID happened, and you know, now is no better time for Nobel to expand. And what we're looking for really is a super angel investor interested in fixing education. Questions?
Okay. Andrew, thank you. Floor is open for comments, questions, etc.
So, hi, Andrew. This is David Cross. So what is your actual business model? I take it you're selling directly to parents?
Yeah. Yep. Parents get this for their kids. Yeah, they get this for their kids. We're not going to schools right now. We did go into some schools initially, but yeah, not going to go after that battle.
Yeah, no, that's hard. I agree. And so is it so how does it actually, the pricing work? Is it a set number of classes? Is it tell us a little bit more about your business model and how you make money, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so they pay for classes, so they'll pay for $500 for what used to be an entire semester long class, which was just 2 hours on a Saturday. But that class is now running in about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, right? So I think before COVID, people would sign up with us, and they might spend $1,000 a year with Nobel, or $1,500 a year with Nobel, right? And just having their kid, you can think of it like scouting almost, right? But now they're filling it with many more. We've accelerated the classes, so that $500 class, rather than being over 3 months, it's actually over 1 month.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
So,
Yes,
so
yeah.
what about your unit economics?
So because we've got kids teaching kids, our costs are very low, right? We obviously have some fixed expenses where we're building up the systems and scaling. We really started our first class of kids teaching kids back in November, and went from 1 class to 2 to 4. I think this month we will do, I think, like 15 or 20 classes of kids teaching kids. But we're really seeing the generations, go up and be able to satisfy an exponential number of kids, but barely move our own expenditures.
Quick question, Andrew, with the shortening of the classes, now that people are spending $500 over 4 weeks instead of 4 months or whatever, any idea if that's going to lead to increased churn? If this thing's going to cost parents now?
We're actually dropping. We're actually doing discounts for people, because I think in COVID, right? I think before COVID, we were comparably priced to many other programs out there, but we definitely saw a dip right away in the paid classes. But with our very, very low cost base, we actually think we can expand even at much different prices. We're just discounting stuff now. Does that make sense? So you're right. You're right. People are more price sensitive now than they were before.
Okay, Andrew, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and our last presenter for the day, I would like to introduce Mr. Derek Battelle, who is with Flav.
Thanks, Chris. Also, my partner James is on the call as well, so we're gonna combine this if you guys hear some other voices.
Great.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome, James. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Can everybody see?
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm Derek.
I'm James.
And today we're going to introduce Flav. Flav is as opposed to at chain restaurants. And now more so than ever, there's definitely a mass hysteria around supporting Baltimore and the local eateries.
We do this by making it easier for users to discover local dining establishments, utilizing gamification techniques, and providing consumers with personalized recommendations from their friends, All of these features will hook users and drive them into local dining establishments, increasing profit margins for those establishments.
So we have all this wonderful food here. Probably nobody knows where it came from. That's because chains overwhelm these local restaurants in terms of marketing expenditure. These local restaurants operate with low profit margins, typically around 3 to 5%. And recently they've been crippled with third-party delivery services taking roughly 30% of every transaction. So they're constantly looking for innovative ways to get people to dine in, or nowadays, due to the pivot, to stay 6 feet away with takeout, as opposed to ordering through third-party delivery services.
So Flav mutually benefits our users and the local dining establishments. It connects users who prefer local dining options to local dining establishments nearby. Flav provides the user with the information they need pertaining to the establishment in order to decide whether they want to eat there, rewards them for dining in, and allows them to filter the map to only view places their friends recommend. It then empowers the local dining establishments by providing them with the data they need to operationalize their businesses, helping them to better understand their customers.
Secret sauce, we have it. Flav is easily scalable for one. There's no POS integration. To James's point, we have a database, and we need the name and address of a restaurant that automatically populated with points. And in a sense, we've created a shared ecosystem where local restaurants are supporting each other through a location agnostic platform where anybody can dine anywhere and get rewards. And all encompassing, we're empowering the local businesses as opposed to the chains.
So Flav utilizes a freemium model with 3 tiers that our customers can subscribe to. Every local dining establishment is on Flav for free, and they are set at the lowest possible Flav cash value, 10. The first tier, which costs $50, gives our customers the tools needed to grab the attention of consumers within the app, like being worth more Flav cash, then driving consumers to the local dining establishments. The second tier, which costs $100, will provide the dining establishments with the data we acquire pertaining to consumers that dine at their establishments and only their establishments. And then finally, the third tier, which costs $150, will introduce predictive analytics, providing customers with information on how to operationalize their businesses, utilizing all of the data that Flav has to offer.
Market will capture roughly in the US, there's 352,000 local restaurants. Assuming that we can penetrate this market at 60%, so 20% at each tier, this is a $254 million market for our team. The same, so in the greater Baltimore area, there's 1,413 local restaurants, and this equates to $100 million. Within our first year, we're launching our beta in roughly 2 to 3 weeks. We plan to generate $339,000, anticipating we could assume tier 1 at 15%, tier 2 at 5%, and tier 3 at 5% as well.
So there's a decent amount of competition within the space. We have direct competitors like Seated, Untapped, Resy, and OpenTable. When charging dining establishments, these competitors utilize variable costs, making it harder for the dining establishments to effectively budget. These apps also rely on integration with point-of-sale systems, which requires onboarding and limits scalability. Then there's Yelp, which is an indirect competitor and is heavily focused on reviews that are not validated. And these reviews can diminish the value and reputation of the restaurant. There's known remedies for the consumer, including word of mouth and Google Maps, which shows the users all restaurants based on the location and is typically chain heavy. And then we have delivery apps, which significantly cut into the dining establishment's profit margins. And on top of that, they double dip by charging consumers fees. Flav, on the other hand, offers consumers a simpler and faster decision-making process by showing only local dining establishments. Users can review recommendations from their friends, which they are more likely to trust. We don't need to integrate with any other tech in the restaurant, and we are charging a flat rate so the dining establishment can factor a fixed cost into their budget each month.
strategy for hitting the market. We're super excited. We already have 165 beta testers registered, and we've onboarded 14 restaurants in Baltimore City. To really hit the market, we aim at partnering with the local convention centers as well as nonprofits. Visit Baltimore, Live Baltimore, to name a few. Visit Baltimore to really target these tourists once the economy opens back up, and we can be the point of reference to find the local restaurants. In addition to that, we have an accurate map with exclusive deals that are attractive to consumers. Within that map, within our product, we have a microcurrency Flav Cash that we can use to generate referral traffic and spur consumer adoption. And lastly, for the low-hanging fruit, we'll definitely leverage influencer marketing, and we'll co-brand with restaurants. That looks like exactly what's on the screen. We have Flav coasters, stickers, flyers that we can place with restaurants, and we can also incentivize their servers monetarily to get downloads.
So just a little refresher, Flav is local only, and all local dining establishments are enrolled by default. Flav has employed best practices as it pertains to user experience, ensuring we've created a product that users will use before, while, and after they eat. We've made sure our product is frictionless for restaurants, and we are trying to be an ally first. We're making sure to avoid the features our competitors use that cause problems for the restaurants. Finally, we have a huge market we can go after, and research shows that in order for dining establishments to succeed, they need to understand their customers and utilize innovative techniques to bring people through the door.
Plan for the money. We're looking to raise a significant investment, 50%, and we'll allocate 50% towards product development just to roll out some increased features after our MVP, 35% towards marketing sales to really highlight some of those, our go-to-market strategy that I previously mentioned, and 15% towards legal and other miscellaneous business fees that come around with being a C Corp.
So we have the team that can get it done. The 3 co-founders have expertise in business development, engineering, and product design. We have 2 additional superstar software engineers, 8 interns that span across development, marketing, design, and client outreach, and then 3 advisors who have been offering advice along the way.
Thank you, guys, and we hope you all are ready to taste the town.
Derek, James, thank you very much. Very, very well done. All right, now the fundamental question I have is you've got a 2-pronged business model, if I'm not mistaken. One is that the consumer will pay to use the platform, and the restaurants will also pay a fixed fee to use the app. Am I correct?
Partially incorrect, Chris. So you're definitely correct. We are dealing with a double-sided marketplace, but for consumers, being folks like ourselves, people who are in the Baltimore area, they can use the app for free. It's free to download. You can literally just go anywhere and take a photo of your food, and you can reap the benefits. Up front, every restaurant is onboarded for free. So we just assign each restaurant points, if that makes sense. So we'll say if you're in Harbor East and if you go to the Irish pub that's on the corner, they'll have 10 points on the map. That's frictionless. We don't ask them, and they're just getting the benefit. The only cost the restaurants have up front are the ones who participate in our redemption catalog. So they're giving us deals, low margin deals, whereas if you dine in, you're typically going to order something else. So that cost is passed off to them. But they realize that. That's kind of like the game, and we're very straightforward with that. But overall, they're banking on the aspect that you're going to order more food, and you also may not know about them. Does that answer?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Floor's open for questions and comments.
Hey, Chris, this is Andrew.
Yes, sir.
How do you guys actually prime the pump, right? Like getting enough, obviously you got, you go out and list the restaurants for with no cost from them. Mm-hmm. But how do you actually get the consumers to go to your app in the beginning?
Yeah. James, you want me to take it or you want to take it?
Go ahead.
Okay. So right now, COVID has definitely been devastating for everybody, and not to take this lightly, but with us, it's definitely, we pivoted a little bit. So there's a need. People can't really find the restaurants that are open during COVID, their hours of operation, what have you. So that's definitely a pain point for folks. And so once we release our beta in a couple of weeks, we essentially just have a map that's filtered strictly for restaurants that are operational during COVID, which is a problem that we're solving. And we'll integrate with Facebook groups. There's a ton of those, just standard digital marketing tactics up front. And then from there, hopefully we'll execute with our go-to-market strategy to really target the people who have disposable income, 25 to 35, who prefer to dine out maybe 2 days a week.
And to just add on to that, so like our main target was always like the socially conscientious user, the one that's prioritizing local. And there are a ton of influencers on various social media platforms that specifically target this audience and the audience that considers themselves foodies. So one of the main behaviors in the app is taking a photo of your food. And anytime you introduce an additional step to a user, it's more likely that they'll just pivot away from the app. So we wanted to go for these people who are already familiar with that behavior. So we are targeting those influencers that have a ton of access to these users that are more likely to adopt it, and partnering with them as well.
Okay, Green Bounty. You have your hand up.
I actually think they had their hand up since Sonia's presentation when she asked about if people were impacted by cancer, because I raised mine at the same time.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'll chalk that up to another senior moment brain fart on my end. Okay? I'm sorry. Green Bounty, you have your hand up. Please feel free to ask the question.
Thank you. That was just back to Susan. I think her social care is wonderful, and helping the people is great. I hope her a lot of success.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions for James and Derek and Flav? Okay. Everybody, thank you so very much for attending today. I hope those of you who had a chance to practice your pitch and demo received some value out of it. Derek and James, and each one of you, I'm going to ask you to please put what you need and how we can help in the chat box, because I'm going to be following up with everybody and distributing this information so that hopefully we can make some meaningful connections. All right?
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else? Fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. I hope you got some value out of it, and I hope that we'll see you next week at our next event.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. This was great. I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Hi, Chris.